Everyone, this is Latasha Blanton from the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And you're going to have the opportunity to travel with Phil Scott to
sunny South Africa. You guys are going to have the opportunity to come to Johannesburg, and you guys are going to be coming to Durban. And we're going to set it up perfectly. It's going to be like a luxury experience for you guys. At the same time, you're going to be getting some culture. And of course, you're going to get an opportunity to talk to Phil, hang out with Phil, and get his views on Africa and South Africa.
You're also going to get an opportunity to explore the lifestyles here that are available in South Africa. And we're going to do all that for you in an amazing 10 days. We do hope that you go to the website and book, because we do look forward to seeing you here.
Absolutely. Our website is therealsouthafrica.com. Go there, scroll down. You'll see a picture of Phil, and just go ahead and book there. So we'll see you here in what we like to call sunny South Africa.
Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard with African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so pleased that you're with us today. And we're also very excited to share with you a brand new addition to our platform, and that is our own app. Yes, you heard that right. Highly professional. Be sure to check it out. The information should be below. Be sure to tell all of your friends and family about this, because this helps to expand our voice. And how many of you all know it's so critical that we support and expand our collective Black voice, because we speak on behalf of issues that matter to you. Thank you so very much. Family, there has been this geopolitical term, not just geopolitical, but certainly geopolitical term of decoupling. It's not unusual to hear the United States and other Western countries invoke that term, decoupling. And they've been throwing that around a lot because they know, and they're very clear, that because many of them have an insufficient amount of commodities and products and services to actually trade with the world concerning the United States, except for like weapons. Talk Black to me. And the skill to unalive, unfortunately. The tools for doing that. Weapons, I mean. You are in a vulnerable position, because when you look up, you're tripping because other countries' infrastructure looks better. The images that we once saw of other countries with dirt poor, like India, you know, in the minds of our people, and certainly throughout the continent of Africa, that goes really almost without saying, the level of propaganda they wanted us to believe about the African nation, and all the pictures and the images they showed us as I was growing up. I'm a 44-year young woman. Talk Black to me, where I was very aware that they were putting images of Ethiopia and Sudan and other parts of the world because they wanted to emboss these images in the brains of America to see these countries as poor and pathetic and with nothing. While in the meantime, they are secretly, quietly, through their transnational companies and organizations, talk Black to me, somebody, pillaging and exploiting those countries quietly while they're telling you nothing's over there. Are y'all hearing me? Well, the cat is out the bag. So the images that they once showed us of the continent of Africa and places like India and stuff like that, for example, stuff's changing. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not poverty and extreme poverty in some areas, but that's not the whole picture, is my point. And we're clearly seeing some areas where that shocks some of our people. Just shout out to our brother Phil. He is collaborating with a beautiful Black couple business or what have you, I believe, where they're getting ready to plan a trip to South Africa. And they're talking about taking you to luxurious parts of South Africa. These were not images we were shown here in this country. So there has to be a deliberate effort to expand what we've known to be the truth about the continent, right? Well, there have been changes that have been made. There have been things that have developed. And of course, things that were just kept out the whole time. Well, such things that they want to keep quiet are the minerals, critical minerals, that the continent of Africa has disproportionately more than any other. Now, of course, we know we find some of these minerals in other parts and concentrated parts throughout the world, but nothing like the quantity of the continent of Africa. This piece I'm reading from, the headline, "The Critical Minerals to China, EU, and U.S. Security, National Security." This piece talks about how governments formulate lists of critical minerals according to their industrial requirements and strategic evaluations of supply risks. It talks about over the decade how minerals like nickel and copper and lithium have been on these lists and deemed essential for clean technologies like EV batteries, electric vehicles, that's what that represents, and solar and wind power. Yes, it talks about how this graph that's in this piece that's used by the United States, by the U.S. Department of Energy, are used to identify minerals that are essential to the United States and a couple of other countries. Yes, it says there's no universally accepted definition of critical minerals, but countries and regions continue to maintain lists that mirror, current technology requirements and supply and demand dynamics, among other factors. It talks about these lists are constantly changing. It talks about 14 raw minerals that was in the 2011 list and 34 raw minerals is critical some years later, right? It says that the United States and EU in particular seek to reduce reliance upon critical minerals. 10 minerals feature on critical material list of both the United States, EU, and China include cobalt, lithium, graphite, and rare earths. It goes in detail with this graph here. Despite having most of the same materials found on both the United States and China's list, the European Union list, it says it's the only one that includes phosphate rock, which obviously is a bit different. And then it goes on to obsess over, it says, China's dominance in terms of China being able to produce 60% of our rare earth elements used as components in high technology devices, including smartphones and computers. What I want you to understand is that this list of rare earths, minerals, are primarily and mostly found on the African continent. And this piece is ostensibly a cry to some of its viewers that they know they're in trouble. And they consider this to be a matter of security, national security for each country. Now, because China has better relationships with what they consider to be the global South, which obviously includes the continent of Africa. This is another reason why they can't stand China, because they have better relations with them. So even whatever dearth of minerals and material China has, they have decent relationships with the global South so they can negotiate that and not be desperate. The EU and the United States are masters of exploitation and oppression. So it doesn't come normal to them. Fairness. You understand? Trading, where both parties are involved in something, a little thing known as quid pro quo. That's totally foreign to them. If bullying isn't involved, if weapons aren't involved, if exploitation aren't involved, it's just totally foreign, and you understand. African minerals, the lack of them, and too heavy of a reliance on them is a matter of national security for these countries. How was this not knowable? And I'm trying to understand that if the United States keeps kicking off African countries from favorable trade agreements like the AGOA because they don't agree with your LGBTQ agenda, or because they refuse to denounce Russia, or because they're making progress with trade routes and stuff with China. So you punish them economically. You try to ruin their name and their reputation. You try to bully them, and you try to put pressure on them. And we also see that on the one hand, you're saying that you're decoupling. On one hand, you're saying that you're de-risking. That's another term geopolitically they use. Decoupling, de-risking. So that they don't rely so heavily on these minerals, because what if something happens and they don't have access to them as much? That's going to put them in a hell of a situation. They're saying that, but like I've discussed here in some of my previous broadcasts, be sure to go through our broadcast here on African Diaspora News Channel and watch everything I do, family, because it's important, and I'm connecting dots. No matter what country or topic I'm discussing, it's all important. It's all interconnected for the empowerment of our people, that is. On the one hand, we say that, But on the other, Malian armed forces are finding U.S. military mercenaries covertly still operating, evidence of them still operating on their country, in their country when they were supposed to be long gone. You're supposed to consider South Africa to be an ally, but because they have not denounced Russia, and because they have a good relationship with Iran and China and some other people that America doesn't like, Europe doesn't like, she lies on them like she did when she said that South Africa was shipping arms to Russia. The investigation found that to be a total lie. And of course, the ambassador to South Africa from the United States, Mr. Briggity, gave a half-hearted apology. But what did that do to the rand? What did that do also to the reputation of South Africa until they completed their investigation to find that there was no evidence of that, which we knew? What happens when we keep seeing that you claim that countries that are engaged in what you call a coup, oh, you can't do business with them, but you made an exception to keep one of your most expensive, if not the most expensive, based on some reports I've read, drone base in the Sahel. You claim that you're not supposed to be operating there because you don't work with coup countries, but you made that exception because it cost you, I forget how many tens of millions of dollars, not only to build, but it requires millions upon millions upon millions to maintain. Why are you situated in the Sahel, and what are you snooping around with that drone base? One of the most expensive on the planet, one of your most expensive ones on the planet, in this high conflict area. So on the one hand, publicly, you pretending like you're not really going to be working with these countries, or you decoupling. But on another hand, we're still seeing evidence of your presence covertly. Talk black to me, somebody. Just like Europe was sitting here in the United States, calling out other countries in the global South and throughout Africa, which of course Africa is a part of the global South, saying you're helping Russia and all of them bypass sanctions. But we found out that the EU is still buying Russian oil through a third party. Make it make sense, America and Europe. Your critical resources there are considered to be of national security to these countries. That's important to know as you plan, as you protect yourself. But also, we know that when one's hegemonic empire is coming to an end, those individuals and entities and systems and institutions and those that run and head them, they're not going down without a fight. So I'm sure y'all keeping that in mind as you make your plan to move forward for the empowerment and the sovereignty and the goodwill of your people. Yes, my name is Vicki Dillard. I can't wait to hear what you have to say below. Be sure, beloved, to share this broadcast and check out my website at VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKI Planet.com. I have so many yummy products and services. I can't wait to see